all your viewers can understand, back in the 6-team league, we as players never spoke to each other on the other team. Now, to form a players' association when you don't speak to each other is pretty difficult. But I saw what was happening to our farm clubs, and I could see things happening where they would send kids down and they wouldn't pay for anything. If you didn't have a wife and children, you weren't too bad off. But if you had children, that's expensive. And I just thought, we got to get together where we can do some negotiating. And the owners met 9, 10 times a year. We as hockey players never met because we didn't speak to each other. But Doug Harvey and I were on the pension board, such as our pension was back in those days. I approached Doug because if I was thinking of starting a players' association, you can't do it unless you have the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 6-team league. You were not even going to get off first base. So the All-Star game was always played where the All-Stars played the Stanley Cup winners. Well, that year it happened in 55, 56. We had won the Stanley Cup, and we had 5 players on the first All-Star team. So that meant we brought 5 players in from the other 5 teams, which gave us a good representation. And it was on a Monday night in New York. And we had it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon so we could hit the press releases. And we were all there. We had the meeting. And we had to put $100 in because we needed to pay the lawyers in New York. So all of the fellows said, now, who's going to be the president? And they said, well, it's Ted's idea. We'll make Ted the president, knowing darn well when we got back to our home bases on Tuesday morning for practice, somebody was going to get hung. Well, anyways, I knew darn well when I got back to Olympia that the Red Wings wouldn't be getting dressed for practice. There'd be a red-faced Mr. Jack Adams in the room, and he was there, and he was ranting and raving, but I'd do the same thing today.